presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Tap it in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
It's a really big show today. Dan Lanning will be with us coming up in just a little while, as well as Lisa Peterson. Deputy Athletic Director currently, Lisa Peterson. And Lisa is actually leaving the University of Oregon Athletic Department. She is moving on to the Pac-12 Conference office. And I told Lisa, sort of jokingly, because she had been scheduled to be on this date like a month ago, I said, well, Lisa, do you want to keep this interview? And she was like, yeah, I think I do. And I said, so is this going to be your exit interview? And she laughed. You know what? I think it kind of is. So for fans, it's going to be like Lisa Peterson's exit interview. What do you all want to know about Lisa Peterson? What if we never asked Lisa Peterson that we should ask Lisa Peterson today? And I have to tell you all, I collected some questions from various coaches and staff around the University of Oregon. This is going to be fun. So she's going to be with us for the final time before moving on to a new role with the Pac-12 Conference office in just a little while. Dana Altman met with the media yesterday. I was over at basketball practice. That was fun. I'll tell you, this is a good team. I think that the top 8 in the rotation for the Ducks this year, really versatile, could be really good. We're going to talk with Coach Altman about that. I think we'll get to that on the show today. Also sat down with Missy Lombardi, Oregon softball head coach, earlier this morning. That on the show later this week. And talking about basketball, Armand Gates and Chuck Martin, both of the new assistant coaches for the Ducks. They were here in the Country Financial Studio yesterday. Come back on Thursday's show. Full interviews, biographical, if you will, getting to know these guys. It was awesome getting to know the new assistant coaches. All right, it's the bye week, and it is officially UCLA week, kinda? Sort of. The Ducks are working on themselves, and they're working on UCLA, and they're working on a few other opponents. But this is a special week because it's the Pink game. We're going to talk about it more next week, but I have to tell you, Richard has a new outfit. Yeah, Richard has a new outfit. Thanks to Michelle in the Duck Store and the rest of the Duck Store team, they've got all of the pink merchandise ready. The jersey is already sold out. Yeah. Well done, fans. The jersey is already sold out. He's got a beanie. He's got a shirt. There's also a jacket that we might put him in later on. You can get all the stuff at the Duck Store. And I understand that standing room only tickets, there's still a few left for UCLA if you want to come and get in on the Pink game. But this is something that's bigger than football, right? And it's a particular connection, I should say, for Dan Lanning. And he talked about that as well as a number of other things. Head coach Dan Lanning, his only press conference this week because it's the bye week. Ducks have a lot going on off the field as well, but they're working on the Ducks. Here's Coach Lanning from just a little while ago after practice.
Improvement practice 1 for us in the bye week. Great opportunity for us to focus on us. It's really been, kind of our focus the entire year so far. I think we're trending in the right direction. Got some really good work. Got an opportunity to get some young guys some more opportunities and reps. Also got opportunities to get our old guys better, right, and develop our roster, continue to grow. Certainly we're IDing some things this week. Each player on our team has a personal individual improvement plan, something that they're working on that they can get better at. Coaches are being really specific with them in their growth. We're going to look to continue to grow. We'll have similar practices the rest of the week.
What's the coaching point on the targeting call for Dante other than just aim lower?
Yeah, we want to hit in the strike zone, right? We want to make sure we don't lead with our helmet or our shoulder in a launching position. You know, I think every one of us could express frustration with the rule. I think there's an intent in the rule, and we want to make sure that we're protecting people, and we want to keep people safe in the way we play. So we have to coach hitting in the strike zone, right? Making sure that we're not launching in a way that would create a penalty, and making sure we're keeping our head out of it.
Where does that personal improvement plan come from, and does that change on like a week-to-week basis for one of you guys?
Well, we don't always get to narrow it down and say this is the one thing we got to get better at. A lot of times you'll approach a week and you're like, hey, here's the 5 things we got to do to win a game, right? This week we can be really intentional. We can say, hey, this is the one thing that I really want to be better at the end of the week, and then that's going to carry over to a game week.
Other team factors momentum when you're game planning for the running game, or maybe choosing the next running back for the next drive. Like, how much of a factor is momentum when you're deciding that?
You're talking about how the running back's been running so far is what you're saying?
Yeah.
You know, obviously I think that gets assessed. Certainly aware of that. We generally talk about how we're going to play the players before the game's ever played. I mean, we always do that. So not usually a shock. There's certain plays we like to run with certain guys, certain situations we want to be in, but certainly momentum can be a factor.
You mentioned there's individual improvement plans. Is there a thing or two? I mean, last couple weeks you've had, I guess, red zone and penalty stuff. Is there a thing or two you assess from Arizona that are focal points for the team this week?
Yeah, we have so just like we have an individual improvement plan, we got these 4 things on offense that we're going to get better at. These 4 things on defense that we're going to get better at. Special teams in this unit, here's what we want to see cited improvement. So I think you have to be really clear. It's really a big week for self-scout where we go back and self-evaluate what we've done well, what we've done poor, and then how we can build off of that and grow from that.
Where's third down defense, particularly
on that list?
Yeah, I was just saying the medium range this past week, how troubling was that?
It's really actually poor on both sides. I know we only had, I think, 8 opportunities for third down on offense. But in general, third down's an improvement piece for us. We've evaluated it pretty close.
Gonzo moved around a lot on defense, put a lot in the slot. What did you make of his ability to be multiple out there?
I think it's a tough challenge for him, but obviously we think really highly of Christian. He's the kind of player that we can put in a lot of different positions. They had a really talented slot receiver. We wanted to be able to see him move around there. I thought he handled the first game of that, doing it pretty well. If you guys remember going back into fall camp, we said we want to train guys at multiple positions and be able to see what they can do. And that's a great example of a guy not necessarily getting a ton of reps throughout the season at one spot and then being able to go and adjust on the fly.
Seeing the film and knowing who he had to play against last week, Florence's improvements or his play against Arizona having to replace Manning?
Yeah, I thought he did some good things. I think he did some poor things. He's got to learn to play less handsy at times, right? We got to eliminate the penalties. He's putting himself in position to play, and he's playing with the brand of physicality that you want, but we got to eliminate the penalties.
How did you assess, before the targeting call, Dante's performance?
Yeah, he did some really good things. I thought he played with the brand of physicality. He had a nice tackle on third down. Dante's continued to show up and has proven that he's earned an opportunity to play.
You mentioned last week that you didn't think of Bo as a sliding type of quarterback. Can you talk about where you sort of lean on the putting your nose down and also sliding from that QB position?
Yeah, it's tough. You want to protect yourself, obviously, but you also want first downs and touchdowns. So I appreciate the way that he plays the game of football. He plays it with a physical toughness. He also at times is going to have to be smart and make sure he protects himself.
When you talk about some of the offensive self-scouting, Dan, you guys started to pick up a little bit on some of the running back splits by way of distance from Bo and some stuff. I mean, sometimes even on some effective plays, but like you talked about, like the Bennett play, you guys set up something, you picked up something formationally, obviously turns into not just a negative play, a turnover. Certain tendencies are starting to get there, I think, a little bit with the running back splits. Are you guys noticing that and picking up?
Yeah, it shows up. That's the same reason you'll see us at weeks. We'll play with the back behind the quarterback in pistol formation. At times we'll be in the gun. We move them around quite a bit. We shift. We motion them, right, a good amount. So certainly something we're aware of. I'll say this, in my opinion, great teams have tendencies, right? If you're a great team, you're going to have tendencies. They're going to show up. You just have to be aware of those tendencies as a coach.
Punter looked like it was decided for a moment, and then it seems like it's back open again. Just what are you hoping to see over this nearly 2-week stretch to get that little bit?
Just like every position, you got to continue to perform at a high level, and we have guys on our roster that can compete, and we're going to keep competition going. It's not just that position; it's every position.
At this point in the season, have you had conversations with a lot of players about redshirting? Do you know who's redshirting yet, and who's not?
That's not a huge discussion for us right now. Our focus right now is playing. We're aware of it. We track it every single week of where guys are at. If somebody can help us and help our team perform, we want to be able to utilize those players, and I think a lot of players on our team want to be able to do that.
As a first-time head coach, how do you sort of grade yourself through this first half of the season, and where do you feel like you still have room to improve?
I got a lot to improve. I'm not in charge of grading myself. That's not my job. But we do a self-scout of our program. I do a self-scout of myself. What things can I do better, right? So that's going to continue to exist. I'm going to continue to grow and develop as a coach.
With Kamari and Devin in particular, they both got to the 4 games and didn't travel. Was that redshirt management, or is that something else?
Again, I'm not really discussing that with you guys, but if people are available and can help us, we want them out there on the field for us.
There seems to be a trend on social media where a lot of players are tweeting out videos and highlight videos of other players on the team. Is that something you guys as a coaching staff are pushing, or is that just kind of born organically?
Yeah, that's not necessarily something we're pushing. It's always great when your players love each other and want to be able to do that.
For some of the guys who are out longer term, just wanted to see if there was optimism with their return after the bye with Stephen Jones. And you mentioned Popo out for the year, but is there a chance of petition for another year possibly?
Yeah, there definitely is. We're definitely evaluating that with Popo and working to get the rest of our guys back.
Coach, how do you feel the DBs responded after giving up some of those deep balls to Cowing and just the way they responded in their play?
Yeah, I thought our guys played, in a lot of ways, maybe our most complete game. Going back and evaluating, I think we definitely could have done some stuff better, special teams wise. And then, we have to be able to finish. There's a couple penalties in drives that extended drives, and gave them an opportunity to throw the ball down the field. We got to do a better job there. But we're advantageous with takeaways. Outside of 2 running plays, we did a good job of, stopping the run, and we knew they were going to have a good passing game. But I thought our guys responded well.
What's the balance this week of self-scouting, self-improvement, but also using extra time to look ahead to UCLA next week?
Yeah, not just UCLA, really every team that we're going to play. So we have teach periods in every single one of our practices where we're focusing on future opponents and things that'll show up for us. But it's a balance.
Last week, the NCAA announced the spring transfer window would not be in May, it would be in the last 2 weeks of April. Now that you have this bye week to talk about it, but initial thoughts and how that might impact what you're thinking by way of the spring game, and that is one school of thought of do the spring game as early as possible, potentially get transfers in at the end of April. The other school of thought is do it as late as possible and get transfers in for the spring game. Do you have an early assessment of what you're thinking?
Honestly, I haven't put a lot of thought into it. Really focused on the next game right now.
For this weekend, with how vast are the recruiting plans to get guys on the road for?
Yeah, we got a plan.
Sunday?
We'll be out on the road really Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and some Saturday as well.
How do you feel like it's just gone recruiting-wise? Having actual games to talk about, hey, this is what our vision is, and being able to show and reference that. How do you feel like recruiting's just gone in general?
Yeah, I think it's gone well. I'll say this next game, I'm hoping to have some really, great players on campus. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Obviously, getting the opportunity to play UCLA, who's a really good team, clicking on all cylinders right now. But that environment, I think, from our fans and for recruits, is going to be really special.
The team has, of course, obviously already revealed the jersey that you guys will be wearing in the next game. What's your thoughts on the jersey, and how special is it to be able to represent that cause?
I love the way we're partnered with Nike and the things that they can develop for us and our team. But obviously this kind of has a special place for me from a cancer standpoint, just because my wife's a cancer survivor. And I think it's really always special when you have a stage and you can do it for a special cause.
Is there a particular position group or area you guys are really focusing on by way of recruiting specifically? I mean, always it's broad, but I mean, is there one in particular that, given the way the class come together?
No, I wouldn't say there's one. I mean, you got to continue to evaluate your roster and look to improve across the board.
How have you seen Ty Thompson progress? And he's gotten in, I think, 4 times in the late games. Have you kind of assessed him so far?
Yeah, I know he would love to have some moments back, but I think he's done some good things too. He made some really good run checks this past game and was able to assess what the defensive lineup was in. He looked really good in practice today, did some good things today in practice, so continue to be excited about his development. I talk to our players as a whole, not Ty, the entire team. If you're the same player you were in week 1 right now, shame on you, right? We should be better, and Ty's a guy that's getting better. You guys don't always see all the work. You only see the game film, right? We see all the work in practice, and every one of our players, we want to see him continue to develop.
One of the marketing messages referenced 17 seniors. You guys don't have 17 seniors from an eligibility standpoint. You have more than that from an academic standpoint. So are there
You'd have to talk to marketing on that. Okay. That's a great question for Nate and these guys.
Fair enough.
Possibility of college game day coming to Eugene for the UCLA game. Do you guys realize that at all? How special is that to your team and the atmosphere to Eugene for the student section?
Yeah, it could be elite. I think this is going to be a special game, regardless of who comes, doesn't come. This is going to be an elite atmosphere, and you love to have an opportunity as a coach and a player to play great teams. It's a great team coming to play us. Again, we're not really there yet. We're not spending all of our time on them, But I know that environment's going to be really special, and hope we can create a special one here.
For the road games, I think I've noticed you're trying to take a kind of a solo walk around the field. What are you doing there? What's going through your mind? What is that taking in the stadium? Is there anything in particular?
No, it's just something I've always done. Whenever I go to a different stadium, I want to walk it, make sure I understand where the play clock's at, get a feel for the atmosphere, right? Get that knocked out of the way for me early so I can be focused on the game when we get there.
Is that your entire career, or did that start at a certain point?
Yeah, pretty much my entire career. I remember doing that when I was like Park Hill South High School, and we go to Fort Osage, and you got to walk the field before the game.
Is there a particular, like you've talked about how you've been really confident in Bo the whole time and believed and certainly saw his athleticism, but is there any metric, any split that is even surprising to you, Dan? Because there's a lot that he's done that have obviously exceeded so far what his career stats were, but is there any area of the field, any area of performance that exceeds even what you thought was possible?
Bo's playing well. We're excited that he's doing that, and it's what we've known he can do. It's not a big surprise. I think I would challenge everybody, including Bo and myself and everybody on our staff and everybody out there, don't let your highs get too high and your lows get too low. It's about continued performance, continually putting that together, and we don't get hung up in the moment. He's done a good job. We think he'll continue to do a good job, but that's because he has, really level focus.
Dan Lanning, Oregon head coach, the bye week availability. The only time that we'll hear from Coach Lanning this week. No coaches show for us this week because a lot of the coaches are going to be out recruiting as they continue to work on the Ducks. And then a little bit, as you heard, a head start on UCLA and the rest of that Pac-12 schedule for Oregon. All right, this has been about a month in the making. Lisa Peterson is here. We're calling it the exit interview.
Hi, Joey.
Is that a good way to describe this?
I don't know. It depends on what you're going to do to me. I'm a little concerned.
So normally, I send talking points in the calendar invitation to the folks that come on the show. It's my way of trying to be nice and get them ahead of the game. They can think about what their answers are going to be. I didn't do that for Lisa this week.
Yeah. You didn't.
And you're a little upset about it.
No, I'm not upset. I just asked for one thing.
I don't think you asked for it.
The folks in the room, did I not ask for it?
Lisa Peterson is here. It is Athletic Director Tuesday, and when we come back, it's going to be a great time. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. For the final time as an athletic director, Tuesday representative, Lisa Peterson is here. I can still say deputy athletic director for, what, another 4 days?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've told fans about this. I want you to then say it in your words if you could. What's next? Okay. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, I'm really interested as to what you said. No, so I am going to go to the Pac-12 as a senior associate commissioner, sport management, and something else. I'm not 100% sure, but the main responsibility is, so the Pac-12 has 24 sports. They have 21 Olympic sports, which means not football, men's or women's basketball. And I will have oversight over those 21 sports, whether they report directly to me, which 3 of them will, or the sport managers for the other 18. And it'll be working with those coaches groups, if they have a championship, working with that, scheduling, all of those sorts of things, and then whatever tentacles come from all of that. So I'm really excited about it because I feel like I know a lot of the players, that are in there, obviously not just from Oregon, but within the Pac-12. And certainly I know my boss, which is really weird because I've only had one for about 25 years. So, all of that is what made it really great. And then, Joey, I mean, as you've heard and it's because I can live where I want to live. And I actually made a decision that was personal, and I've never done that in my life. So.
Yeah. I want to reiterate that point because you haven't done a lot for your own personally because you've had so much great stuff happen professionally, and it's, I think, fair to say that your professional life has really been interwoven with your personal life.
We talk about that all the time. Somebody had asked, anytime you're talking to young people that want to get in the business or, somebody who's been in it for a little while, it's always about work-life balance. And I don't believe there's work-life balance. I think it's work-life integration.
Blend.
There you go, blend.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Oregon really allows you to do is to have that integration, and that's why, it's been so great. But I've never, I've always put work first.
Right. One of the longest running jokes that I've had with you has been about business card titles. So
I was going to say, we have so many.
We have
yes,
so many. Don't worry, I got notes.
Oh, God.
I got notes.
How long is the show?
We're off in 39 minutes.
Okay.
With commercial breaks, you've got about another 31 minutes of time.
Okay.
So
all right.
That gives you the barometer.
Okay.
So one of the longest running jokes that I've always made is you're more important when your business card title is so long that the font has to keep shrinking to fit it until you get to the ones that are just like 3 letters. AD, CEO, right? Like that's when suddenly you've made it, when your title isn't this ridiculously long thing and it shrinks. Is your title longer? Or is it shorter now?
We'd have to look at the letters.
I want to know.
We'll have to look at the letters. I don't think I've made it, so I don't feel like, it's not shrunk to the 3 letters.
And so one of the running jokes is that your initial title here wasn't deputy athletic director.
No.
It was / a lot of things, and then it was deputy athletic director. And I was like, Lisa, your business card, the font's so big now.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But this is a fun move up for you, isn't it?
It is. It's exciting. It's something different, and it'll be new challenges certainly, but I'm looking forward to the change.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, a lot of running jokes, and you knew I was going to have to ask you about this, and you mentioned your work with Rob Mullins.
Yes.
You've had one boss for 25 years or something like that.
Yes.
When did you first start? Remind fans if you could. When did you first start working with Rob? How did your guys' relationship take off, both professionally and personally?
So it would have been September of 1995, and I know some of the people in this room were not born then.
I was
or
too.
even thought of. Oh, okay. Well, that's putting me in my place. So he was, I don't even remember his title. I think he was a business manager at the University of Miami, and I got hired by his boss at the time, Kelly Landry, as an assistant business manager as my very first job. And we only worked together from September, and then he left at the end of April and went to the University of Maryland. And so, we had a working relationship then. It certainly wasn't a personal relationship. And then when he got to the University of Maryland is when he called me about an opening there. And I would say that's when it truly started. So that would have been January of 1997.
Wow. And then all the way to Oregon.
Yes. So Miami, Maryland, Kentucky, Oregon.
Do you remember what was going through your mind? 2-part question. When Rob became the AD here, and then when he called you to say, hey, I want you to come work at Oregon.
Oh, yes. So first of all, I could not have been happier for someone because I know that he had tried, in some other places to get that. And a lot of places were very hesitant to hire someone at a Power 5 who had never been an athletic director. And in all honesty, and I'm sure that he would say this too, but Chip Kelly played a big part in that because went from being a coordinator at a Power 5 to a head coach at a Power 5, and he kind of equated that during the interview process. But yes, I was devastated because, Rob and I, we'd become really close. I'm close to his family. I'm the godmother of his children. He told a funny story last night about when Tanner was born, and I actually fainted. So, we had been through all of that with the family. We were family at that point. And when he left, I actually took them to the airport, and I was, talk about ugly crying. And Tanner, I think, was 3 maybe at the time, and he grabbed my face, and he goes, "Lisa, we know that you're going to miss us, and we're going to miss you too."
Oh, that's great.
And it was awful. And so it was just like I figured it out. Because remember, I was a chief financial officer,
Right.
and when I came to Oregon, I was not.
Right. And that was a shift in your career,
Huge.
wasn't it?
And the best thing that ever happened. Sorry, Billy and Eric.
Well, it's worked out.
It's worked out.
It's worked out. Can you maybe elaborate for fans that aren't as familiar with the distinction, because you
Yes.
did make that career change when you came to Oregon.
Yes. So my whole career was in finance and, managing the day-to-day operations, managing HR, all of that. And I loved it because everybody's getting paid or spending money. And so everybody.
Right.
And it was a really big transition when Rob said that he has this position, but it had nothing to do with the business office. And I was scared. I was like, this is what I've known. And how do I do that? And when he, gave me what the job responsibilities were, and when I had student athlete development, then I was like, okay, it will be fine because that's really what matters anyway is the student athletes. And yeah, it's the best thing that's ever happened.
I think that's awesome to hear that because it's one of those moments in your career I feel like that we've alluded to on the show before, but I don't know that I've ever asked you like the in-depth. And so some fans actually asked me, hey, I want to learn more about her backstory and what got her to where she is. So one of the best questions that I got from a fan, and I want to give credit where credit's due because I collected a lot of questions from staff, coaches, fans. How did Oregon, now that you look back on your time with the Ducks, how did Oregon impact your life in a way maybe that you weren't expecting?
That is where I think the relationship. I think I've always been a relationship person, but when you're doing finance and you're doing the numbers, and I had other responsibilities too. So I still, would oversee sports and stuff like that, but it was just in a different way because when you're, managing at that time it was probably $50 million budget, like the time that you spend is a little bit different.
Sure.
And so what being at Oregon allowed me to do was to get involved in different things, certainly the relationships. But then if you look at what's happened in the last decade with Be Oregon, with Women in Flight, with, the Jane Sanders team, like all of those things, I'm not sure I would have ever been a part of that. So it was all the experiences, but it was also the why in all of that. And I think it's made me a better person. I definitely care, a lot about the outcomes and, when people leave here, like I think that people think that we just are with our student athletes for the 4 or 5 and sometimes now 6 years with COVID, but I have lifelong relationships with a lot of those people.
That's
and
so awesome.
Yeah, that's the best part. And as I said last night, I've never lived anywhere in my life as long as I've lived in Oregon, and that's from birth.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yes. So this is, this was a really big decision.
Yeah. Okay, I got to take a break, and I got to regather myself now. Lisa Peterson is with us, Deputy Athletic Director, before moving on to take an awesome opportunity with the Pac-12 Conference. That's the best part. You're still in the Pac-12.
I'm still in the Pac-12.
Still in the Pac-12. We're still going to see you a lot because Pac-12 championships tend to go through Eugene.
Always.
Good. She's biased. Don't tell the other 11 schools.
I have
in the
4
Pac-12.
days that I can still be biased.
4 days left. More with Lisa Peterson when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales. At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
We are back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack. She's Lisa Peterson, Deputy Athletic Director for another 4 days, then Senior Associate Commissioner in the Pac-12. Have you gotten used to that yet?
No, not at all. I didn't really hear it until you said it.
Yeah, if I introduce you that way.
Yeah, it would be
now
weird.
you're gonna, you've got a Pac-12 email now. Rob said that on the air.
But that's just it. I don't. So if he has it, I still don't have it.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
But there will be an @Pac-12, Pac-12.
There will be. I actually had a coach tell me that was mentioned.
Uh-huh.
He didn't tell me that.
Which coach? Matt? Ulmer?
No, it was somebody else. I don't even remember.
Okay.
They were talking about, I guess you were talking about football game times.
That might have happened.
Do you remember the sports that I said that I'm working with? Football wasn't one of them.
Football's not one of them.
Yeah, so just as an FYI.
Okay, good. So, Lisa Peterson, Deputy Athletic Director, is with us. So we were talking a little bit about your past time at Oregon. So I told Lisa this a little bit during the break, and I've said this on the air before. A lot of people have echoed this. Coaches, staff, other ADs have echoed this. Think about when you first started and where women's athletics was, not just at Oregon, but across the country. I think now about Title IX, 50th anniversary. You and I have talked about this. The Go Do Anything campaign's going on right now. Big, big deal amongst women in flight, everything else that you've been a part of. I don't know where women's athletics at Oregon would be without you and what you've done at Oregon. And I mean that in the most sincere way that I can say that. How much pride do you take in those various programs, the relationships, and just how special women's athletics is in this community?
Well, I think that we've talked about it a lot. Like, I am where I am because I was a student athlete. And everything that I've been given is because I was a student athlete and the opportunities that it provides, which is one of the reasons why I'm very concerned about college athletics going forward.
Sure.
And yes, I got to be a part of transformative times at Oregon, but that's because of a leader who also believed in it. And because Rob allowed all of those things to happen and cared about it and just needed someone to be the point person is why all of those things happened. I think back to, Kim Murray and Franklin Alegria and HJ, and when we put together the proposal for Women in Flight to the Patrons. And, all of those things don't happen if the person, who's in charge of the department doesn't believe in them. Herb Yamanaka and Jane Sanders Stadium. So as much as I may have been the point person, I did nothing by myself. And it's because of all of them that it all got done. So as I said again last night, I feel very lucky to have been here, through the change and through the success, but I still think that the best is yet to come here. And I feel really good about leaving all of the different sports and departments where they're at now.
Yeah.
Because of the people that we have.
That's cool. That's really cool. And I want to tell fans what Lisa's talking about. Last night I had a celebration around the Oregon Athletic Department for Lisa. And as you can tell, very deserving. All right, I'm going to lighten it up for you a little bit.
Okay, good.
Okay, you ready? I was going to ask you about favorite memories. We have pictures. Don't worry. We'll get to that in a minute.
God.
Okay, that's going to be toward the end.
Okay.
But I collected some questions from various coaches and staff, and I asked them to be the funny kind. Because I like to think that I'll ask you the real hard-hitting questions. There's no softballs on Duck Insider. Never. So which coach in your tenure, not just currently, in your tenure at the University of Oregon, which coach has the best hair?
I bet I can tell you who asked you to ask
wow,
me
that's
that
funny.
question.
Because there's a follow-up question that says, who do you think came up with this question?
So I'll just say this before I answer that question. I've only gone to Target one time looking for very specific hairspray on a road trip. And I'm not sure if all of you can guess who that person is. The majority of my coaches do not have hair. The females do not pay as much of attention to their hair as this head coach. But flip-flop sock guy, Mr. Ulmer. Erica Dillard and I are in a Target, and he was very specific. Like, it's bedhead, silver-bottled hairspray that we had to go find. And it took us forever. But we got it, and I think we won that night. So, but I feel very confident that Matt Ulmer is the one who said to ask that question.
Yes, accurate. Well done. Good job. Well done.
That one was definitely a softball.
So, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but
God.
Coach, if you're watching, I know you're on the show tomorrow. You're probably watching. You do have good hair.
He does have good hair.
God.
Even better, and Matt, hear me, even better than Kevin Hambley, no matter what anybody else says.
That was like a 2%er. I think 2% of the audience got that, and I think that's perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Matt did not ask this question to be asked.
Okay.
Which coach has the best style and best shoe game? And they might be different.
Well, I feel very confident that Kelly Graves is the one who said to ask that question.
He's not.
What? Wow, because he's always, and I don't want to give away his secrets, but he's always matching.
Yeah, sure.
And he may sometimes ask for assistance to make sure that his outfits are matching.
That's just good dressing.
Yes. Wow, I cannot believe that he's not the coach that asked. So if it's not him, I don't actually know, because I feel like he's the only one who makes a point to talk about what he's wearing.
That one came from fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly Graves thinks that he has the best style.
But who do you think?
No, Kelly's always matching. Always matching. His shoes always match. And I don't care. And it's typically the things that stick out the most, because we have the matching clothes for Oregon. It's all the other stuff that's not Oregon that he's always matching. So I would say Kelly. Although if we're talking about shoes, I have to mention Missy, because her and I, speaking of long-running jokes, I tell her that I do not like her white shoes with her black pants, and she will continue to wear white shoes
I disagree.
with black pants.
Good look.
I think she should wear black shoes. She does not like black shoes. So watch every softball game, and she will not be wearing black shoes.
Well, I like black shoes, but I think you can wear white shoes with black pants.
She's a big fan of white. She likes white tops, white shoes.
She was in the studio earlier. She was wearing gray. You know, white adjacent.
Exactly. Very white adjacent.
Understood. Understood.
Well, Kelly could have asked that question. So thank you to the fan who did ask it.
One other great one before we take a timeout, and then we got pictures for you.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
What is something that a lot of people maybe don't know about your time here that is worthy of sharing here today?
Oh, wow.
Also, fan submission.
The fans are really good.
Hard hitters. This is why, again, the interviewer is only as good as the interviewee and the help he gets from the producers. And we're crowd producing this. Like, the fans help me produce this. So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I really feel on the spot, and I'm not sure that I've got a really good response.
You want to take a break to think about it?
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Because I want it to be real with that.
This is a live show. We can do whatever we want.
Okay, then let's take a break.
Okay. Lisa Peterson's here, Deputy Athletic Director for 4 more days. The farewell interview. And don't worry, we still got pictures. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack joined again by Lisa Peterson. Our farewell interview, and we're doing it the right way.
We are.
Yeah. Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson, if you're just joining us, transitioning to a new role in the Pac-12 Conference Office. We're going to miss you.
Thank you.
But I think I speak on behalf of all Duck fans when we say we're darn proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks for what you've done here. But
Absolutely.
Don't worry, we're not done with you yet.
Okay.
All right, so going to break, I asked you a submission from a fan, something people don't know about your time here that you would want to share.
Actually,
you got one?
Yes, I do. So when I arrived in Eugene on October 21st of 2011.
Boy, that's coming up.
I know.
Okay.
11 years. And that night there was a volleyball game against Colorado. And Jim Moore was a part of the interview process. So I had, a not necessarily relationship with him, but I wasn't walking in there by myself. Yes, and football was on the road. So like Rob wasn't around and there wasn't a lot of people that I knew that were around. But there were two people that Rob said, make sure that you get the chance to meet when you're there. And it was Becky Sicily and Peg Reese. Mm-hmm. And I, met them that night, and what they have done for this program, what they have done for this university, what they have done for women in general. I know that a lot of people keep hearing about it, but it is definitely something that, helped me on my career, because they, took the time to make sure that I knew some of the history and kind of where it was. And if you remember, right in that, I think it was May or April of 2011 is when Rob had gone back and given letters to all of the previous females that didn't get those, in their time here. And so they were just really impactful to me, and kind of always in the back of my head or on my shoulder, in making decisions because of what it felt like I needed to help carry forward and make better.
Boy, that's awesome. Every year now for the last 5 years, COVID messed it up. We did like 3 of them in a 4-month period. Lauren Crockett, I still don't know how you did this.
Right.
The Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I've had the honor of emceeing that. And part of that is the Becky Sicily Award.
It is.
And I got to tell you, Lisa, every time someone receives that award and comes up on stage and looks at Becky, it is amazing to me the amount of emotion in one look just for what Becky's done. And I feel like that's kind of what you're getting at.
Absolutely. And, she's still around, thankfully, and still has a big impact on everything that we do. And, we can't forget where we came from. And if there's anything related to Title IX to remember, it's, there used to be a time where we didn't have the opportunity as a female to do these things.
Yeah. Lisa Peterson is with us. Okay. Favorite memories.
Okay.
Shout out to Brielle Mosley.
Oh, my God.
Brielle, I was told, was the keeper of the best pictures.
She's also the FBI, if you don't know that. Hi, Brielle.
Seems to make sense. All right, so those of you who are watching the show, we got a little slideshow for you. Ryan's going to go through some of the best moments for Lisa. I think it'll help jog her memory a little bit on some of the best moments. Ryan, fire away. Oh, yes. During COVID, Lisa, one of the few people in Matthew Knight Arena, masked up and still cheering.
Well, of course, and you had to cheer because nobody else was, and we had that annoying music that was going on at the time.
The crowd noise?
Yes. Do you remember that? I hated COVID, for anybody that doesn't know that. Like, it was the worst. But I've said it, our athletic medicine staff, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have played. And I know that it stunk not being able to have fans there, but the fact that the teams got to participate was a huge deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, a favorite memory, maybe not. Definitely sparks emotions, though.
But it's a fabulous picture.
Well, thank you. And thank you.
Yeah.
I'm also watching basketball at that time. Oh, we were at the NCAA tournament.
Yep. NCAA tournament, one of a few NCAA tournaments that the Ducks have gone on a run with. And Audie Gilden taking the picture. I got to tell you, this one was actually a live picture.
Yeah.
And the best part of it is the build-up where Audie is, like, coordinating everybody.
I'm so sure.
Image.
Okay, look at that. Look at the success in that photo. Audie is now a coach at Seattle University. Nia Jackson is a coach at Grand Canyon University. Lydia is overseas playing. Ruthie plays. She's a world champion. She's overseas playing. Like, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is good memories. Oh, I love Croy and soccer. We had to do photos for that thing, and I said to Croy, I'm like, we have to make him look natural.
Make them look natural.
Yeah, that looks real natural, doesn't it?
Yeah, well done.
By the way, Croy and True, I can't say on the air what they recommended, but they gave me a recommendation on my last trip to Hofstra about something that is life-changing for people, and shout out to Croy and True. They know what it is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, Women in Flight. Love this crew. I mean, Women in Flight, everything about it, what it embodies, what it means, the people that have been involved. I saw a photo, actually, of our very first time with Dave Patrone and, with Janelle Cook and HJ and Kim Murray and just so many great things related to Women in Flight. That is a good memory.
Awesome.
And look at that hair.
Yeah, he does have good hair, Coach Ulmer does. Though Coach Butler in this picture.
That's got a pretty good game. He must have borrowed that bedhead hairspray.
Don't give him that credit. Don't give him that credit.
Oh, my last Rose Bowl.
Yep.
This was a great time. Yes, I know you're shocked because HJ's in the photo, but we really we had fun at that Rose Bowl. And obviously, Justin Herbert's score towards the end was something that I'll never forget. And for those that don't remember, like, I started at the Rose Bowl. Like, that was my very first bowl game.
Right.
And if you remember where I've been previously, we had some good ones, but there wasn't a ton of them. And so the Rose Bowl does it better than anybody, and, all of those things. But at my very first Rose Bowl, that was the Wisconsin win and all that stuff, and I'd met Chip Kelly twice, maybe, after that game, and I told him that my Rose Bowl record was better than his.
I like that.
But I love the Rose Bowl. Oh, this is when we won the Pac-12 tournament for the first time in Seattle. And obviously with the best athletic director in the country. This was, women's basketball and the success that they've had, and I don't know if there's another photo, but, I recruited Kelly, and I recruited him for a while, and one of the things that he said as the reason why he wanted to come here was because he wanted to win a national championship, and he thought that he had the ability to do that, but the elite players want to play at a Power 5 institution. And I honestly think that there was one player that had turned him down to go to a Power 5. That's really why, because he had a lot of offers before us.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, if you come to Oregon, you will make it to a Final Four. Mm-hmm. And, it was a battle to get him because Gonzaga, he's the mayor of Spokane.
Right.
And he probably still is. So, exactly. So, us winning that game against Mississippi State was probably one of the highlights. And that year at the banquet is when I got emotional because I knew how hard it was for him and Jody to leave where they knew and everything that they had done, and to be able to do that. And then Sabrina, I mean, everybody remembers her recruiting story and what that was like, and that's also why she came here. And so it just felt like everything that we had promised came true.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
More celebration.
Yes. Ruthie would always come by my office when I wasn't there, and she would leave me notes, and she would say, I don't think you really work.
You do.
I do.
You do.
I was just never in the office.
Can confirm she does work. That was great.
Oh, those are sweet.
Thanks, Brielle.
Thanks, Brielle.
Yeah, Brielle, I was informed, was, like I said, the keeper of the best photos. And so Brielle had curated some of the best. So
that was very nice of her.
All right, I got one more timeout for you.
Okay.
If you're sticking around for the end of the show.
Of course.
But I want to have you think about this one heading into the break again.
Okay.
Because a lot of people now, I think, are like, well, what's going to happen at Oregon? You know, we're really happy for Lisa, and I know you have strong feelings on that.
I do.
And you alluded to it earlier, and so we're going to ask her that when we come back. Where does Oregon go from here in the post-Lisa era?
It'll be great.
Boy, the post-Lisa era. I haven't said that out loud before. That just got real. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
All right, hard-hitting question to start.
Okay.
Lisa Peterson, final segment, Athletic Director Tuesday, Deputy Athletic Director before becoming the Senior Associate Commissioner. Great fan suggestion here. Can we call you the commish now?
I don't think George would fall for that.
Can we call you the Associate Commish?
Sure.
Like just sneak it in there?
I mean, it's part of the title. So
But you're,
works.
I mean, that's like, you're
but there's another level. Like, let's be clear. Yeah. There's a commissioner, then there's two deputy commissioners.
But then there's
senior associate.
Then there's Lisa, the commish. You know?
I don't think you can do that.
Well,
but
okay.
anyway.
We tried.
You did.
We're trying to anoint you. So
yes.
Where's Oregon go from here? You know, you mentioned that you feel like it's in a strong position, and that's part of why it was easy to make this transition.
Oh, if I said easy, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
Let's just say that it made it okay to make this transition. I mean,
better,
like, yes,
better words.
It's not.
The broadcaster's
about
not
this
good
was
with
easy.
words.
Yes,
You know this.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
No, so what I will say is I am not leaving because anything is wrong at Oregon. It has nothing to do with this place and the people that are here. And, I mean, Rob is the best athletic director in the country. And so there is a ton of interest. There have been a lot of people that have reached out to me, just wanting to know, like, really why would I leave a place like this? And it is 100% for personal reasons. It has nothing to do with that. And so there's going to get someone in here that's going to be different than me, but that doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's going to be better. And they're just going to, like, where I started and the runway that I had and the ability that I had to make impact, we're just starting in a different spot, right? Mm-hmm. And college athletics has changed a lot. And so there's a lot of things that definitely need, attention and maybe a different area of expertise to be able to help us get to that next level. So Oregon is in a great position. And if Rob does one thing, he hires good people. He obviously does a lot of things, but so I feel very confident that Oregon is going to be in good hands, and I still get to work with this person and be connected with this person. So it will be great. It will be great. Yeah. Maybe some of the coaches that I said no to on things will get those things. So maybe everyone will be happy.
There are coaches that are listening to this and watching this and going, huh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can probably give you that list, but anyway.
That's for Duck Outsider.
That's exactly.
That's for Duck Outsider.
Exactly.
Well, Lisa, once a duck, always a duck. Thanks for always coming on the show. You've made it so fun, and fans, I got to tell you, have been just loving the fact that you've come on with us all the time. Because I want everybody to know this. Athletic directors, senior associate athletic directors, find me another school in the country where all of these people are taking time to come on and do an interview with a schmuck like me. Right? Fans, you get to hear it from a lot of different people in this athletic department, and it's because of folks like you that are willing to come on and do these things in front of the fans, and that means a lot to me. It means a lot to the fans. So thank you for always doing that. We wouldn't be here without you. I mean that.
Well, I love doing it, and it was, the fact that you even asked and cared about what we thought, again, knowing that you had to put up with HJ and Craig Pintons and those folks, like that was a really big deal. But honestly, no, the fans, the people are what make Oregon great. And it's not just the people that work here. It's the people that support this place and are in this community. And I have loved every time. That's why I give you a hard time when you're not here. Sure. Not that I don't like the replacements. That's not what it is. But, it's just really great to be able to be on here and, to have the fans and the good and the bad that come with it. Some of the times it's the tough questions and all of those things, but this really is a special place, and it's only going to continue to get better.
Quite the endorsement, huh, folks? Well, we're glad that Pac-12 championships still go through Eugene.
They do.
Because that means you're going to be back.
I will.
I hope that you maintain some of your bias.
I just can't do it outwardly in public.
Right.
Yes. Right. Don't worry.
We understand.
Okay.
Let's just end with this because Lisa will appreciate it. I know the majority of gear packed in those suitcases.
Enough said, Joey. But thank you seriously for everything, and go Duck.
All right. Lisa Peterson, one last time. Deputy Athletic Director Lisa, thank you.
Thank you all.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. And I mean this sincerely. Totally sincerely. I'm so glad you're not packing for yourself.
I am not.
Tomorrow on the show, I'll come up with something. Bye, Lisa.
Bye.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn.